Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, another day, another talk, another pro tip. Um, Today I thought I'd take a crack at talking about my experience at 16 years working at Honda Motor in the new model development, and see what lessons there are for us today about how the economy works, how prices are set, how things are produced. But anyways, when I joined Honda back in, let's see, I think it was 1989, the price of an automobile, a new car, I'm trying to remember, it was probably somewhere in around the area of $22,000, maybe $25,000, depending on the model that you ordered. And I remember I worked there for 16 years, and I remember soon after I worked there, walking around and seeing the amount of investment is involved in bringing a new car to market, and the amount of cooperation, the amount of companies. Did you know that about probably 80% of the value of that car is produced by suppliers? About 20% of it is produced in-house. I got a good look at what the in-house process was, but all the body panels were done in-house. And back then, I don't know, I'd hate to think what they cost now. One set of dies to make like a side panel outer, a side panel over the biggest part of a car body. Back then it was, oh boy, over $1 million just for that one part. I bet it's close to 10 million today. But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, the price of a car didn't seem, after seeing what all goes into a product, I remember thinking, boy, I'm amazed that we are able to sell a car for so cheap, right? And in my job in the new model center at the factory side, we're involved in bringing models into mass production, and had to work with development and with sales. And, it was a team effort across the globe to bring these cars to into manufacturing. But I was privy to a lot of the financial information at these evaluations that go into the car. And you know, the raw profit made by the corporation is about $5 on the, not $5, 5 cents on the dollar. It's about 5% profit. And people think, oh, these filthy rich corporations, we need to tax them to the hilt. No. You know, I'm no expert on tax law and don't know. I'm all for a free and flat tax, but we get taxed every which way in this country, and probably there are countries that are much higher than ours. But do you realize that a tax on the corporation, it's not a tax on the corporation, it's a tax on the customer? You got to realize that, people. When Honda goes into these meetings and, okay, what does it cost to build the car? Okay, we need to allow a little bit of profit to go on R&D, maybe 5 cents on the dollar to go on R&D, 5 cents on the dollar to go to corporate, 5 cents on the dollar maybe to go to the manufacturing. The suppliers need to make a little bit of profit, or else they cannot survive. And then they get this total, and then say, okay, what's the corporate tax rate? It just gets tacked on. It's tacked on at the end, and it's passed on to the customer. So when people vote for a higher corporate tax, all that is a tax on the consumer, okay? We got to realize that. So You know, corporate tax doesn't make any sense to me from that standpoint, but you know, I'm no expert on tax law, but you know, why don't we tax the consumer? Pass that. You know, I realize taxes need to be levied and need to be made, but what's the most responsible way to do that? How can you encourage business and encourage success without without, anyways, it gets passed on the customer either way, right? Okay. So then I thought, okay, as I was at Honda, I was saying, okay, how much quality can we build into this car? I thought, man, we have the capability to build cars that were, you know, what's the most high-tech thing you think of? Airbags. We can put airbags all across that car. No one will ever get hurt. And we can do this with the body panels, and we can do this with the radios, and we can do this and that with the windshield wipers, so they'd never wear out, and our customers would have a reliable vehicle that would last forever. Okay, and what you've just done by creating that, you've created a car that no one can afford. Okay, so the market is the best way to find that equilibrium. What are the customers willing to pay? You could create a car like that, but you would almost have no customers. No one could afford it, right? Or you could create a car as cheaply as possible, and as wear out, the customer have to buy a new one. So in trying to balance the needs of the customer, the owners, the employees, everybody's needs are different, and you have to strike this equilibrium, or else businesses go out of, corporations go out of business, right? Yeah, in Honda, when we would build, say, the Accord, started out, it was on a 4-year cycle. I believe it's now on a 5-year cycle. We'd have a full model change, a complete new redesign. Now I think it's every 5 years, might be 6 by now. And then minor model changes along the way. And you might ask your question, well, why don't they just keep building the same car forever and ever and ever? Okay, there's a product has to be attractive, right? Has to be up to date, has to have the latest features, has to get a facelift in mid-cycle, or else the sales go down. To keep the sales up, you have to keep refreshing the product, right? And people who are not aware of this think that, oh, these corporations are just out to gouge people. Yeah, right. 5 cents on the dollar, and they're gouging people? No. So, you know, some companies do it better than others, but the free market is a master of finding the equilibrium between all these needs of the customer and the owners of the company and the employees, right? And then government tries to get in there and thinks it knows what's best for everybody. Yeah, right. Nobody knows what's best for everybody. People will vote with their feet. Okay, vote with their dollars. So there's just so many things behind the scenes that you don't realize. When Mr. Honda started up his company in Japan, I think it was him, I can't figure the other guy's name, him and a partner, they began putting moped, putting an engine on a bicycle that would power the bicycle, okay? From that they advanced to motorcycles, and then they advanced to building a first car, and now they're building cars all over the world, building them in the markets in which they sell them for the most part, and employing from those two guys, employing hundreds of thousands of people across the globe. Just in Ohio alone, I think they said Honda was the biggest. Honda and its suppliers was like the biggest employer in Ohio. Hundreds of thousands of jobs are created by ingenuity, right? And the second government tries to get in there and screw things up is the free market is a master at creating innovation, not governments. All right. So there's so many lessons to be learned from. I don't know how long we're at, 11 minutes. These lessons that went there, and let's see what else I was going to say about. Anyway, so a sales price of a brand new car, when you realize how many thousands of people, or thousands of jobs, hundreds of thousands of jobs worldwide go into creating that vehicle, it starts to feel pretty affordable, right? And then you go out and you do your shopping and buy the vehicle that's best for you. And oh, Milton Friedman. I was going to say something about Milton Friedman. Yeah. I can't remember what I was going to say about that, but anyways, there's so much to be learned by understanding how products are made and how they're priced, how they were sold. Every step along the way, there's the sales people, there's the development people, there's the certification people that are have to test these vehicles and get submit certification applications to governments before they can even sell their products. There's aftermarket parts, there's parts suppliers, there's in-house. I don't know if you know this, but when I was okay, good thing that's not annoying. I'm trying to think what was made in-house. We made all the body panels in-house, and I'm sure there were some brackets and things that were not made in-house, right? The engine block was made in-house. The bumpers were made in-house. All the body panels, right? But everything else, like 80% of the car, is coming from a supplier. They're all supplying these things just in time to make this thing come together, and it's an amazing process. It's just a sight to behold, and I just want you to, feel good about the free market. Free market principles work, right? And that's my soapbox for today. Pro tip for today. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.